Hey, Sassy Stuff. We're back with another Sideline Stories. I'm Emma here with Georgia, and our guest today is Taylor O'Brien with Tailored Technique Media. So, Taylor, can you tell us a little bit about what sparked this transition from you did fitness coaching and then to becoming a sports videographer and storyteller?
Yeah, so I think so. I worked before I did this. I worked in Port Fourchon, Louisiana. So I was driving 18 wheelers in the oil field, and so it was a whole different lifestyle. So I worked 7 days, and then I was off for 7 days. So I had a lot of downtime. So whenever I had asked another videographer in the area about recording my fitness videos, I was like, "Man, how much would it cost?" And when he told me, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's expensive." So that kind of led to me getting a camera that one of my clients had because he was filming me, my boy Hunter, and he actually films with me on the sideline now too. So that turned out to be really cool. But long story short, just we started filming everyone who like came through the fitness program, and I did like a 90-day testimonial. Didn't know nothing about like editing or anything like that. I just like mic'd them up. Looking back at it now, it's cringe, but like, you looking at it from where I was, I don't think I understood like how powerful like social media video documenting how powerful that really is. And we
Mhm.
went to the gym, and he was surrounded by like everyone at the gym, and the video did like really well. So it was really a kind of like a moment to realize like, man, you could do some cool stuff with the camera. And that transitioned into more camera work, less fitness training, and eventually got on the sideline at LSU and got hired by a law firm, and everything's been really great.
Yeah, and then like as a videographer, you kind of have to balance like storytelling with like, oh, this is the technical side of it. How do you find the balance in that?
So we never feel like we have enough of anything. I think it's always the next piece of gear. It's always the next equipment. It's always the next shoot. Your edit does really well, and then now it's time to make another edit. So it's like, when does it end? And that finish line that keeps moving, it's hard to find that balance, like you said. Taking time off, changing up routines, giving yourself that time to like relax. And people say rot, but I just don't like that word. But you got time to take a breath sometimes.
And you had a partnership with Gordon and the G team. How did that come about?
So that sparked off 2 years ago. I just made 2 years at the firm in December. So that sparked off because the Alabama LSU game, in overtime when we won, I was in the corner of the end zone and I had the perfect angled shot. Well, in that shot, although it was cool because it was the game winning, touchdown and all, but there was a little guy with red hair ran across the camera, but everyone saw the little guy run across. They weren't even worried about the football. They was worried about the little guy who stole the end zone cone and took off running. Well, that took off, and that went really crazy. They had a local law firm in Baton Rouge did a spinoff from the little pylon kid went record a commercial and everything. Like, it was so cool, and I was giving him photos and everything. It was a good time, but after that happened, I was like gonna reach out to that law firm and be like, "Hey, you think if y'all would want some more work?" Because I'm always shooting my shot, whether
Yeah,
it be a
absolutely.
question or anything like that. And instead of sending a message to them, I sent it to Gordon because I knew he was involved with athletes, and that was something. I was new to Baton Rouge, so I was just seeing like Gordon everywhere. So that was pretty cool, and they ended up hiring me a full-time job. Alex, the marketing director. It was a created position, really. So that's where it's like sometimes it's hard to gauge your productivity, or you feel like you're not working with your hands. So it's been a transition over the last couple of years.
That's so cool. And one thing we didn't tell you before we started this, Georgia and I are both Bama fans, so that story kind of hit
Ooh,
a
I
nerve.
didn't know that.
Rivals here.
That story hurt us a little bit.
Please don't leave. We're friendly Bama fans.
Gotcha. Well, it worked out for good.
Yes.
Awesome.
It worked out for y'all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
That's
So
good.
you were mostly self-taught. So what was one of the biggest challenges you faced when teaching yourselves the ins and outs of doing this?
Being embarrassed, like if it's not good enough,
Yes.
right? Because we're always like seeing this crazy edit and we're like, I don't even want to post no more. But I think just the older you get, the more, you make something that's really cool and it gets millions of likes. What's next? And then it's flat. So it's like you got to control how social media tries to make you think, really.
Yeah, you had the viral video of the LSU women's team and Kim Mulkey go viral. What was your creative process like when capturing basketball games, especially such a big basketball game like the LSU women?
That was my first time filming any women's sports, and it was so fast because I'm used to football. So I was like, man, I don't even know what I'm getting right now. And I shoot everything in slow motion in 4K 120. So everything's slow motion. So if I get like 2 seconds, I'm okay. I could do something with it. But I think what happened is I was just fascinated at how tough they were, and how just resilient. Because I grew up playing sports, but I've never seen nothing like the women's basketball underneath the goal, like when Angel Reese was, and they're physical under there. So I was fascinated, and then I knew Kim Mulkey was big, and I remember she just went to flipping out, and the photographers they got the shot, and I just like held the camera on her, and then they all showing me their photos, and I'm like, bro, look at this. And then I posted the video, and it did 25 million, and I posted it multiple times because I'm a firm believer if you got something that did good, you could post it every now and then and you get a whole new batch net of followers. But I posted it 2 days ago and it's at 150,000 again. And it's
Wow.
like, if it works, you could do it again.
I would watch anything with her.
Right.
I mean, I might not be an LSU fan, but I would spend money to go watch those girls play.
Everybody says that.
Yeah,
We respect it for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun.
So with NIL culture, it's evolving rapidly. So what role do you think content creators like yourself play in shaping an athlete's personal brand moving into the future?
I think it's very important for content creators because not all of us are going to play those athletic sports, but if you're good with a camera, you might have somebody in high school or even my buddy, he's got his son in junior high who's following people around with cameras, just because they understand how important it is. So, for athletes, if you got a friend who's good with a camera, keep them around. And same with guys, with the camera, like get around some athletes, go shoot some schools or something you could get your experience with. And it's really important because now these guys are marketing themselves and it really works out to have that content that you could just give them and they remember those things. So that's pretty cool.
And you really help people like tell their personal story. What kind of inspires you about helping others show off themselves?
Yeah, I think I've always liked the underdog story. Like I don't know what it is. Like my dad, I remember playing football. I was always so little, and he would always just pump me up in the Jeep with no doors, no windows. So things like that of like, and then really overcoming, something I didn't think, was possible being little or whatever. But it's until somebody tells you or shows you, your value to them. It's kind of like, wow, really? But when you do that for someone else and then they see their video, they're like, man, I didn't know I looked that cool. Or like people
No.
tell them things, it's powerful because when I saw that video fitness testimonial, like what it did for him, like everybody still talks about it. And that's like, that could last a lifetime if it's recorded. So I think we're historians now at this day and age with the camera. So it's pretty cool.
That's beautiful. And I love that you want to help people and show them how great they actually are and what they can do in the field. So that's wonderful. And you played football. So what position? Really fast?
I was running back in high school. We went 11-2. It was fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we are primarily football based. So let's talk a little bit about LSU this past season, how you felt they did, what really stood out to you about this team and how you feel like their future is going to go.
Yeah, I think it was another development year. I mean, Brian Kelly, everyone's giving him a lot of hell, but I think it was his fourth year, or it was Saban's fourth year when they won it all. So this stuff takes time. We got a whole new NIL aspect to this. There's players who you think are staying, are actually leaving. So it's like not only are you recruiting, but you're also keeping your guys too that you thought were like solid. So it's a lot of dynamics involved, coaching changes, new players. So I think it's a young team. I think last year we looked good. Defense got a lot better. We had an injury list long as can be.
Yeah.
So and we still held it down. So I think we'll be all right. Nuss is a smart quarterback. The O line's brand new because Will
Yeah.
and Emery's gone, Dellinger and Frazier. So it's going to look different. It's going to be interesting. I don't know what we're going to expect. So I'm
Yeah.
excited though.
Yeah, and LSU, I mean, even when they're having bad years, like they're still going to be a powerhouse. They're still a force to be reckoned with. I've always said that is the scariest place to play.
Yeah.
They're
So
the scariest team to play, in my opinion, as a Bama.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
never want to play LSU.
yeah. So that, like they're always going to be in the top and mentioned with football. Have you had a favorite moment that you've gotten other than, the big pylon little boy?
Yeah, man, I've got a lot. It's really cool. Especially, I always stay at the corner of the end zone by the student section, and then on the other side by the other one. And when they go to the other corner, it's like, man. But normally they come to our corner, and I feel like I've had some really cool down the sideline shots. Jack Besh was probably, that was one of my favorites too. When he like caught a punt return, he hit the sideline and he ran down the corner like the whole way, and I was just looking at him. That was probably because I knew what I had, and I was
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
not
yeah.
to
You
freak
said this
out
is
while I
gold.
was holding it. Because me and Jack, him and Kyron was actually my first athletes I shot together at the same time when they had came to LSU. So, you know, tough time for both of them guys right now, but it's cool how everything eventually plays out and you got those memories.
Is there anyone not LSU based, like person, player, coach, anyone that you would want to do film for?
You said not player based,
Not LSU based.
not LSU based. I don't really, no, not that I could think
I'm
of.
an LSU fan.
No, I
Yeah,
have to get that young. No.
I just don't know who really comes top of mind. Not really keeping up with the NFL.
You got to go to Jaden Daniels at the Commanders.
Yeah, yeah. I've filmed Jaden. I've filmed Jaden. I would definitely film Jaden again because he's tearing it up.
That is my guy. I'm a Commanders fan.
That's
I'm
great.
obsessed with him.
People always ask about him, and I'm like, man, he's quiet. Like he's just God and football, and like that's it. So he's a good dude.
So, working in your field, what advice would you give to somebody who wants to do what you do?
Hmm. Yeah, I think it would be get organized for sure because it could just be a scattered, it could be shoot to the next shoot to the edit, and you just feel like you can't keep up, or you're trying to make something for views and likes, and it's only it's a validation job sometimes you might feel, but there's a book by Rick Rubin, and it talks about like the creative way and how you can basically create not for you know anything else other than just the act of doing it, and really changing your mindset and keeping sharp on that
Mhm.
because you can get burnt out real quick. And I think we're not always creative, so that's where it gets tough because if you value your job, you want to put in a good day's work, but you're at a rut, then you got to find ways to move around that. So I
Mhm.
think mindfulness and getting outside, natural ways to do things that break that monotony. When we get stuck in those little freak out sessions.
Yeah. I always think consuming other creative outlets,
Mhm.
or watching someone else be creative can always spark some ideas within you. So I think burnout is real and we got to mitigate it.
Yes, yes, it is real. It is
So when you're shooting, besides your camera, what is a piece of gear that you cannot live without?
real. Let me see. Probably a USB-C cord.
Okay, that's fair.
You know, if in case you got to get something quick, you could just plug
Yeah.
it into the camera and then plug it into your iPhone, and you could drop the pictures. So that's probably, and then my toothpicks and my gum. So that's probably
I use them to focus too, if that's
yeah,
what you use it for. Yeah.
yeah. It's fun. I got all kinds of my bags change. I changed my bag like 20 times before every game. It's ridiculous.
What makes LSU so awesome to film?
Well, especially if you grew up down here. I remember going to the games when I was little and like at Tiger Hill when the Tigers come down and you know they barricade the streets off. I remember being a little boy and like looking through the little barricades and like the trumpets. And I was just like, my grandpa was a huge fan, and I'm just like, oh, this is what you was talking about. But I think I've always just loved it since then. Everybody who who plays football wants to play at LSU growing up. So, you know, not being able to get on the field, that's about the closest you could get on the field is with a camera. It's usually the best seat in the house is if you got a camera with anything. So if you learn how to work the camera, you get the best seats. And I think LSU Tiger Stadium at night is just another place. You know, the crowd and the lights, and it's just another. You know, it's so Louisiana, I think, and so anyone who's just from Louisiana, it's just they'll die behind it.
Yeah, I was upset when College Football 25 came out and they named Kyle Fields as like the hardest place to play. I'm like, no, LSU night game, hardest place to play for any team coming in. So
I love
that
that.
is my
I
favorite.
was scared of LSU fans when I was a child.
I have seen the other side of LSU, and yeah, it's not always nice.
And I've seen
But
the other
they're
side of
passionate.
Alabama. Yeah, yeah. I
What's
completely
that?
understand. I've seen the other side of Alabama fans too.
Yeah.
Like I know we can be crazy too.
Yes.
But I remember losing to LSU Nick Saban's first year. I was at that game. I think it was his first year. And I was a kid. I think I was like 8 years old. And I just remember LSU fans like, yeah, in my face. I was crying. I was like, no.
Scarred.
So since then, I'm like, I want to go to a game in at LSU so bad, but I'm kind of terrified.
Yeah, yeah, they're tough. They just I don't know why it's so strong against Bama, but it's just what we do. I don't know. We just
It's
roll.
a rivalry. It'll
Yes.
never go away. We
Yeah.
got deep roots. We're passionate, but I love LSU when I'm not playing LSU. I love
Yeah.
the culture. I love the energy. It's
Right.
just, it's electric there and you can't beat it.
Yeah, yeah. It's cool. And then when they run out the tunnel, they shoot like the things up,
Yeah.
and it's like boom, boom, boom. But as soon as they clear out, you got to get out the way. The band is screaming move, and they're marching, and they're literally as soon as they move those smoke things, the band takes off running with all their instruments. And photographers right there that are new, you have to tell them like run back here to the wall because I've seen them just get collapsed. I've grabbed a few people right before they've gotten
Oh
hit.
my
I've tried to record it because it's just the most insane thing people don't know about. I'm like, this is a stampede of elephants, y'all. This is crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
that'll go viral too. That's good for the page. Don't help
Ooh.
them.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
watching
it's
people
crazy.
get trampled for some reason.
So what's next for you, like with your career? I know it's basketball season right now. I know baseball's starting up. So what's next?
Yeah. So I actually got a drone job tomorrow. So
Oh
that's pretty
wow.
cool. Yeah. So I think really I've been not taking on extra work this
Mhm.
past several months, just because it's just been, you know, the burnout. If you're doing it every day, you just a lot going on. So I think for now I'm gonna start getting involved with more content making, like for myself, like filming things, trying to create more of just me, less football because I don't really want to do baseball or basketball right now. We got a new podcast studio at the firm that's almost ready. We've been working on that, so
Awesome.
I'm gonna try and get consistent with some having people on there and talking. So that'll be pretty cool. Other than that, you know, a little bit extra here and there, but try and just keep a steady pace.
And where can people find you?
I'm on YouTube and Instagram, Tailored Technique, and pretty sure it's the same way it's spelled.
And go look at the Kim video that you just reposted.
Yeah, Kim Mulkey, she's doing good. I need to go get. Monday I missed the game, but I wish I could have went because I don't have anything ever this year. And she was, I've seen her screaming on TV, so I'm like, missing it.
You'll get it. You'll get it sometime this
I want her to scream at me.
Yeah, she's in person. She's the sweetest Louisiana old grandma like you ever known. Yeah.
But on the court, she's a new lady.
Oh yeah, she don't play on the court. I don't talk to her.
You're like, I'm here to film.
I was scared to death of her for a while. It's funny. We'd do shit with her, and then they'd be like, "Hey, Taylor's, he's afraid of you," and she'd mess around. Like, I don't want no trouble with you.
Come storming up.
Yeah, she's
Hey,
so
what
cool.
you doing?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. This has been wonderful. Anything else, words of wisdom you want to tell our viewers?
No, I think I love what you guys are doing. I think it's really cool to document and highlight things and build off each other, certain ideas, it could spread like wildfire. So I think, with everything, social media, views going down, algorithms changing, I think the most important thing is just to find a healthy balance that you enjoy to create, and express yourself how you want. So that's all I've, learned so far. So other than that, I appreciate y'all having me on.